All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday night comic book stream here at Fantasy Books and Games. I'm Aaron. This is Sam.
Yo.
And for the second week in a row, I forgot to change the title of our stream. So it says it's the Digimon Regionals, but it is not. It is the Tuesday night comic book stream. I'll remember it probably at least by the end of the year. I think I'll remember.
Eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get
But
there.
you know what? I mean, if we just are advertising that we're doing Digimon regionals every week, we might get more viewers.
Cross promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get some Digimon guys in here to talk about random comic books. But yeah, we got it's a pretty good week this
It's a
week. I
hefty
think.
week,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're like get rearing up for the end of the year. I mean, what is there? Only really like 5 weeks left.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
I
Is
don't.
that sounds right, but
Maybe
like
six.
when you put it like
Yeah, I
that,
know.
it's
Yeah, when you're just
oh
like, oh. But yeah, so yeah, decent stack of new stuff, and there are a couple of choice facsimile reprints coming out
nice.
tomorrow. And you know that's how we like to start the stream because I
Mm-hmm.
love talking about cool reprints and getting people. I love comic book history,
Right.
and I like a lot of new readers. I think that's one of the things that they get sucked into comics because there's such a rich history, and the facsimiles are such a great way to just kind of tip your toe into it without having to buy like a $50 or $100 omnibus just to read the
Yes.
old stuff. So anyway, let's talk about the two facsimiles coming out. One of them, boy. Well, so first of all, I cannot believe this is a 25-year-old comic book. Uh,
Wow.
but Marvel is reprinting Ultimate Spider-Man #1, and this is kind of the beginning of. I I don't know if I want to say this is. I don't want to overstate the importance of this book, but I do feel like this book is the beginning of the modern era of Marvel. Like there really is like Marvel before the Ultimate Universe and Marvel after the Ultimate Universe.
I'd agree with that.
And
Yeah.
this is where it all begins. And there is a little bit of a it's I mean, just like if I can talk about the history of the book, it is kind of interesting how it is both it like represents the new guard and the old guard because it's written by Brian Michael Bendis back when he was a nobody,
Right.
and it's drawn by Mark Bagley, who was the premier Spider-Man artist at the time. He had drawn Amazing Spider-Man for at least 5 or 6 years probably, and
Huh.
then they gave him this book. And the a lot of the stuff that you see in the Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi movies, come from this, and then a lot of stuff that you see in the MCU just came out of the Ultimate Universe in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is pretty neat that they're doing a reprint of this. Just yeah, just looking at that classic. It is funny. You like look at this, and if you I watched the Spider-Man movie pretty recently,
Oh, you
and
did?
I was like the Sam Raimi one,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, they really did just a lot of those scenes in the movie were just taken directly from. They did probably legitimately use this as a storyboard for the movie, at least in some places.
Is Brian Michael Bendis credited in any way in this first Spider-Man movie?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't remember
Hmm.
because I know that was a big thing with the Daredevil movie.
Right.
The Daredevil movie, which by the way was not very good,
No.
Ben Affleck, but it did go out of its way to give him credit. It did go out of its way to name drop a lot of the Daredevil creators. Like I'm pretty sure Frank Miller and Bendis and Joe Quesada all got like they just like a character had their name, like Officer Quesada or things like that.
Okay.
And there were several of them
Hmm.
in the Daredevil movie, so good for them for that, I
Yeah.
suppose. But yeah, this was '99, I think, when this came out, maybe
Oh my
2000.
gosh.
And because I remember I didn't buy Ultimate Spider-Man #1 when it came out. I was still too cool for comics at that point. Comics were for like little kids, and I started buying it with issue 4 because I was like,
That's
this
a
is
pretty quick.
yeah. It's like I was kind of going through a phase,
Yeah.
and I kind of got back into comics right when the Ultimate Universe was becoming a thing, and I like Spider-Man, so I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll jump into this Ultimate Universe thing, and then I read it for a couple of years, but I never did get #1. So here we are with a facsimile reprint
Well,
of
there you
#1
go.
coming out tomorrow. I don't have any of my Ultimate Spider-Man books
Oh
anymore.
no.
I gave them away, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well.
I like to pay it forward to a certain degree. But yeah, so that's one very cool facsimile reprint. I know there are actually I've had several customers get really excited about this because there are a lot of new readers coming into because of the new Ultimate Universe.
Right.
And so again, like I'm talking about, like that history, like this is a chance to kind of just like get that connection and kind of go back and look at where it really all started.
Right.
But for our next facsimile, we're going to go back even older than that, although not so old as some of the facsimiles we've had.
Yeah.
And this is also, it's like half of a facsimile. It's not a real facsimile.
Okay.
This is, but Skybound, Image Skybound, is reprinting issue 26 of G.I. Joe. And the reason I say it's not a facsimile is because it's not a full reprint of the original Marvel issue. It's just them, now that they own the rights to the material, they're just reprinting the material, but they don't have access to the
Old
like the old ads, and they're not going to print Marvel's stuff like Stan's soapbox and stuff like that. But so yeah, they got like a new credits thing. But this is a relatively famous issue. This is Snake Eyes' origin issue.
Oh.
And this was such a cool issue. Like, so let me explain to you. Back in the 80s and the early 90s, when G.I. Joe was popular, Snake Eyes was the coolest character of all time. He was a Vietnam vet. He was a commando. He was also a ninja, and he was also mute because he was wounded in the war. And he also had no family because they all died in a car accident, which is why he became a ninja in the first place. It's like such high melodrama. It's like everything that was cool about comics at the time, and it was all in this issue. This is the issue where you get there's Zartan right there. You get they tell the story of Snake Eyes goes to visit. I don't want to spoil necessarily who all these characters are, but he kind of tells the story of Storm Shadow was in Vietnam with Snake Eyes, and that's how they know each other. And yeah, it's a really good issue. And what's kind of neat about it is that it's really it's written by Larry Hama, as I probably didn't say, but I say all the time. And Larry Hama was a Vietnam vet.
Oh.
And so whenever you get these, what was made the G.I. Joe comic really cool was it had just a really natural, real tone
about
to the
war.
about war, and just the way it was written. It's written in a really naturalistic tone, like this, like the person talking about it knows all the military lingo, and it's just all really like comes naturally to him. But also, like I said, it has all this like crazy soap opera high melodrama stuff, like Snake Eyes. Like, this is such a sad panel. He comes back from Vietnam like mute, and he has no family to greet him because he didn't know that they all passed away in a car accident while he was in Nam. So it's just like extra sad, you know. But it's also just, I don't know, it's just really cool, like great, like I said, just that high melodrama. Like they always say, like the best classic superhero comics are just soap operas for boys,
right?
And that's 100% what GI Joe is. It is army men soap opera. But I love classic GI Joe, and this is one of my favorite issues. So I think it's really cool that they're reprinting it. There is one of the nice things about it too is, I'll just briefly show, there is an afterword in the back from Larry Hama, just a few paragraphs talking about his creative processes. But also, it looks like they're going to reprint another classic GI Joe issue. So I am looking forward to that. I know that Skybound recently did the omnibuses that collect the entire series, but I'm on board with more reprints of single issues. Yeah, they did a reprint of issue 21 several months ago, which that's the famous silent issue. So far, both of the issues they've done have been Snake Eyes issues, which makes sense because he's the popular,
kind of the coolest.
Yeah, he's the coolest. He's the Wolverine of GI Joe. But so very cool. Two facsimiles that are also not like 80 years old, like some of the other facsimiles we get. Okay, let's move on to some of the other like newer stuff that's coming out tomorrow. One book that grabbed my attention, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, is Batman Green Arrow: The Question.
I love
Arcadia.
The cover.
Very cool cover. Let's put that on the screen there. There we go. Yeah, this is by Gabriel Hardman, and it's written and drawn by him. So that's his art there. And yeah, it looks really cool. Batman obviously needs no introduction. I've always really liked The Question, even though I've not actually read a lot of Question comics.
Yeah.
But I read a few issues of the classic Denny O'Neil run from the 80s. And then Green Arrow is actually one of the DC characters that I don't know if I've ever read a Green Arrow comic.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I might have read more Aquaman comics than Green Arrow, and I've not read a lot of Aquaman comics. But yeah, so I'm familiar with the character
Oh
though, just
yeah.
from the DC pantheon. But yeah, this looks like it. If I read the back preview, there's a little thing, a little blurb on the back. I'm not going to bother putting it on the camera because you're not going to be able to read it. But it kind of explains that this story is harkening back to the '80s era of Batman, Green Arrow, and The Question, where it's written from kind of a social activist perspective, because Green Arrow famously is kind of like the
Old
like
lefty.
an old lefty,
Yeah.
exactly. So they're kind of playing up that angle. And The Question, his like I said, I don't want to pigeonhole him too much, but he was created by Steve Ditko, who was a hardcore Randian objectivist. But all of those edges got sanded down because he was owned by DC, and I think the Danny O'Neill series kind of made him a little bit more accessible.
Oh,
Not
okay.
quite such a Ditko mouthpiece.
I had no idea about that with Ditko. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. So
wild.
he was originally, yeah, he was created by Steve Ditko, and he was definitely kind of a, because like he's got like no face, and there's definitely a, like that was his mask, and there was
Right.
definitely like a either or aspect to The Question, and then of course Batman is Batman. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to read it, but it looks good. This is nice art, and it's a Black Label book,
Ooh.
so I appreciate. I've usually DC Black Label books kind of get my attention more so than the regular series because they're a little bit more mature in tone usually, and also I can count on them only being like 4 to 6 issues, and
Right.
they're just their own thing. And a lot of the another like small thing is that a lot of these Black Label books do kind of work with the like classic versions of the characters,
Yeah.
because they're usually creator driven. They're stories that the creators want to write or draw, and so these creators want to, usually if they're a fan, they want to write about the classic versions, not the whatever updated for the new market version of the
Right.
character is. So that definitely, when I saw the Black Label, because admittedly there are so many Batman books, I kind of passed by it at first. I was just like, another Batman book. Then I saw it was Black Label, and okay, I'll take a look at it. So yeah, looks interesting, but like I said, I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah, I'll have to read that. That looks good.
Also coming out tomorrow, I haven't had a chance to read this one, but it's worth noting, a new issue of Berserker, the famous Keanu Reeves comic that is eventually going to become a Netflix series, I think.
Netflix series. That's what
Or
they
is no
said.
Amazon?
Okay.
I think it's Amazon.
One of them.
Sorry, some streaming
Yeah,
service.
I thought the whole project was kind of to get optioned for a movie.
Clearly,
yeah.
not this is not a slight against the story because
Yeah.
it has really good creators working on it, but clearly it was made as like a pitch for a
yeah.
for like a show or something.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah. But so this, I like that now that the initial 12 issue series has finished. They've periodically just done these one shot issues because, as you know, the character is immortal,
Right.
and I like that they can just do these like random one shot issues of just a random period in time
Yeah.
where he existed. And so you've seen some that were in like ancient Egypt kind of periods, and another period where it was like the Old West, like the American Old West. And this one appears to be kind of Renaissance area where he's like a sailor. Oh yeah, a little grotesque there. Yeah, but yeah. So again, I haven't had a chance to read this one, but looks pretty cool. I like that they're keeping it going. This issue, these one shots also usually are just by different creators. So this one, I should say, is written by Marjorie Liu and art by Gary Brown.
Dang.
Yeah, so yep, looks pretty good. Also coming out tomorrow. Whoops, I'm gonna do a thing here. Just that's good TV. Also coming out tomorrow, another thing that I haven't read, and I'll be honest with you, I'm probably not going to read it, but it's worth noting because I know a lot of people are excited about it. DCKO #2, and as you can see, this is the acetate cover, so it's got that clear thing. I'm not going to put that one on camera because I don't want to touch it too much to get finger smudges. But I did also want to show off this really cool variant cover by Daniel Warren Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Daniel Warren Johnson, and this cover is really cool. So they could almost get me to buy this book just for the cover, but I'm still not going to because I didn't get #1. But yeah, the battle royale continues, and
sure do.
That's pretty much. I really don't. Like I said, I didn't read it, so I don't have anything else to say about it. And I don't even want to flip too much because I don't want to spoil anything for people that are excited about it. But yeah, issue 2 coming out tomorrow, and then also, if you missed issue 1, there is a second printing. This is issue 1. It's the same cover, just without the acetate like foil. See how this is like issue 2 like that. So when they do the second printing of issue 2, it'll just be that, I assume. But yeah, so if you missed issue 1, we got a new printing right here tomorrow. Perfect way to jump on to the series. Let's see. Let's see, I got a stack of books here that are from my regular pull. Before we launch into that, what's something that you took a look at,
I
Sam?
took a look at Absolute Batman number
Ooh,
14.
yeah, I know.
So this is the wrap up to the arc with Bane.
Yeah, a lot of people are pretty excited about that one.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the camera here.
It
There we go. What'd you think of this?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Absolute Batman is kind of, I don't want to say losing me as a reader because I'm gonna keep reading it.
Mm-hmm.
But the it just keeps getting more over the top.
yeah, it keeps
Like,
escalating.
He keeps
and
escalating.
You gotta wonder how long it can keep up
How
that pace.
long can it go? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
Like it gets pretty wild. This is like the most insane part.
Is that a skyscraper?
That is.
It just drops a skyscraper on Bane.
Yes.
They dropped a building on him.
Yeah. And they skewer him and like take out his eye and all this crazy stuff. But yeah, it's a big fight between Batman and Bane. If that appeals to you, I'd recommend it.
Well, I don't want to show too much more because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, is that Killer Croc on the cover there?
That is the absolute version of Killer Croc.
Okay,
yes.
cool. And he's in the issue?
He is in the
All right,
issue.
good.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. I'm glad. So I haven't, like I said, I haven't really kept up with Absolute Bat. Are we seeing more of Batman's villains show up? Because I know we had like Catwoman. Kind of. Okay.
Kind of. They so in the Absolute universe, most of his his rogues galleries
are like
are
all
his
his
closest friends.
Yeah.
And that makes it a little more complicated. But they are being kind of twisted into the versions that we know and are more familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, because that's one of my one of my complaints about Absolute Superman is that there's not enough Superman characters in it.
Like
the villain is Ra's al Ghul,
which is such an odd choice.
Yeah,
but I like it.
It's a good story, but I'm just like, man, why is Superman fighting peacemakers and Ra's al Ghul? Where are all the Superman characters?
Where's Lex?
Yeah, exactly. Where's Lex
Bizarro?
Luthor? Yeah. Oh man, Absolute Bizarro. Ooh. He would just be normal.
Yeah.
Normal,
he'd be pretty subdued.
Normal Clark Kent. But speaking of the Absolute books, also coming out tomorrow, Absolute Wonder Woman. Have you been keeping up with Absolute Wonder Woman?
I am behind on Wonder Woman.
I am also behind on Wonder Woman. So I'm just going to briefly show off. I like this cover, though. This is nice, like her fists. And yeah, so this has just been a cool, I think this is the best looking book.
Of the
Absolutes. I didn't actually see if I think it's the regular artist that's drawing this one, but yeah, this has just been solid. So I haven't read it, so I don't want to show off too much of it. I don't have anything to say because I am behind, but I'm still buying it. That's how much I liked the previous issues, and I just need to take a night and just sit down and dive into it and catch up with it. Okay, also coming out tomorrow, a couple of books that I've recommended multiple times. Let's start with Cul-de-sac. This is probably one of my favorite books coming out right now.
Really?
Legitimately.
Okay.
Have you read it at all? I can't remember.
I thumbed through the first issue. Okay. I don't remember reading it in full.
So it's written by Mike Carey, who he's done a ton of stuff. I'm not familiar with this artist though, Jonathan Wayshak, but I love his art. This is so cool and stylized.
Oh yeah.
And like I said this before, but it seriously gives me Sam Keith vibes, like the Max and stuff like that. Just really cool. I like the use of color, how it's, sometimes it's washed out and sometimes you get these bright colors. Sometimes it's just kind of in black and white. It's just so beautiful looking. And the story is pretty straightforward. It's a vampire story. And then it turns out that there's other monsters that are like a new type of vampire. And so there's
Oh.
like vampire hunters, and all these kids are like with the family of the other type of vampire, and all their parents get murdered by vampire hunters. So they're trying to get to a safe place while these vampire hunters are trying to kill them.
Oh,
And
God.
while they're contending with the fact that they might be some kind of vampire, they don't really know anything about it.
Oh.
It's really cool. It's
Huh.
really good. And like I said, just great art. Like this is just
Yeah, it
one
looks
of the
amazing.
one of the best looking comics on the stands right now. Just very cool. And also, like I think one of the reasons I think it's the best is because it is just unlike anything else you're going to see on the stands. Like
Right.
this is such a unique looking book. Yeah, very very cool. Highly recommend it. I know that it's been pretty successful for Bad Idea, and they've been going against hype and actually doing second printings for some of the issues.
Really?
So which they haven't traditionally done, but I think they're keeping this one in print. So that is good. Also coming out tomorrow on the subject of really cool art, Skinbreaker #3. This is one of those books where I don't have a lot to say about it, but I really like it.
I also read that.
You read this issue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
The art is still spectacular. The
It's
story
such a good
is
looking
simple.
book.
Like the story is just light enough that it lets the art breathe.
Yeah. It's definitely I think I really appreciate this third issue because like you said, it's like a simple story, but that sounds more dismissive than I mean it to be. Because it's like it is simple, but also it's pretty profound is too strong, but like it's layered just enough.
Yeah.
You know, there's enough going on there, and that just like it's not overwritten and they're not overcomplicating it, and there is some subtext in here that I really appreciate.
Yes.
That I wasn't sure if that's where they were going like on the first issue. Like the first issue, I think we talked about this. The first issue is very straightforward. It's like, oh, it's a primitive kind of tribe setting, and it's a might makes right culture. And the protagonist is like a young idealistic kind of guy who's like, no, there's got to be a new way we can learn to better ourselves. And then he does, and now 3 issues later we're kind of seeing the repercussions of that in a way that I thought was really smart, and not just it's not like a preachy book where it's like, all you people that think strength is all that matters, you're just stupid, and if only you would just learn how to read a book, then the world would be a utopia. But it turns out life is a little bit more complicated than that. And I really appreciate it. It's like it is good writing, even though it's not overly complex.
Do you think that the monster's coming into their well, I don't know if we want to spoil it.
We don't necessarily we haven't talked too much about plot details.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's where the twist is going. Like, because like you see it in the first issue, they hunt these beasts, and that's like their source of food.
Right.
And now we're seeing just a slight little new development with that.
Right.
And I think that it's going to go further in that kind of direction of like, we're going to learn more about these beasts, and there's maybe a little bit more going on with them than we were initially led to believe.
Okay.
And that's kind of the danger, because again, it's like that pendulum swinging of like, you try something new, and because it's new, you're facing all these unforeseen complications. And a lot of people will immediately say, see, it doesn't work because all these new complications, and they'll want to swing back. And it is something that, like I said, it's not overly complex, but it is something that reflects real life very accurately. So I'm actually really liking this book more than I expected to.
Me too.
I thought I would like it just because of the art, but it is pretty good. And I should say it's written by Robert Kirkman, who is a good writer, but I think I like that. I do feel like his writing is taking a step back to let Finch's art really kind of tell the story.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it is solid. It's a really, really good book. Also, in my regular pulls, Invisible Man #4. I haven't read this issue, so I don't know if I even want to flip through it because I don't want to spoil myself or anything. But I have just been loving these Universal Monster books. This one is written by James Tiny Onion and art by Danny. But yeah, these books are really cool. I think maybe, have they said what if they're doing another one? Phantom of the Opera looks like.
Ooh,
yeah, there we go. We'll put that on the this is the next one, Phantom of the Opera.
Who's writing that?
Let's see. Do they say? It doesn't say. Oh wait, no, what's that there? Tyler Boss is writing it, and I'm gonna take this off of camera real quick so I can look at it a little more closely. Martin Simmons. So yeah, looks. I mean
Looks
that I'm
good.
on board. I've
Yeah.
been getting all of the Universal Monster books so far, and they're all really solid. Another book in my pull that I really enjoyed, maybe not more than I expected to, but I was prepared to just like let this one go. But it turns out it's really really good. It is Escape by Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna, and yeah, this is just like I like that this book feels like a classic Joe Kubert two-fisted Justice War comic,
Mm-hmm.
but with anthropomorphic animal characters, and it works so well in the same way that one of my favorite comics of all time, Black Sad, which is just straight. We've got some of the books on the shelf. It's a European book, and it's just straight film noir detective set in like 1950s, but with anthropomorphic talking animal characters, and they're all it's actually very stylistically very similar to this, just because they're depicted, they're anthropomorphic, but they're not overly cartooned.
Right.
You know, like the animals still look like the animals they are, just with the human proportions. But yeah, this is a cool comic. I like this one a lot. The last issue was basically one big giant fight scene, so I'm looking forward to see this issue. Looks like it's more backstory,
Right.
and I appreciate the pacing that Rick Remender has done with that, where he's kind of like he gives you one issue that's like all action, and then another issue that kind of like takes a step back, gives you some more information about the characters, and goes back into the action. So it's done. I mean, we're only 4 issues in, but I'm really really enjoying it. Okay, Sam, what else? What else do you got for me?
Let me see. I have Marvel Knights The Punisher #2.
All right, I haven't had a chance to read that one, but
This was pretty
I
cool.
read the first issue and I liked it. This is written by Jimmy Palmiotti and art by Dan Panosian. And these guys, Jimmy Palmiotti is one of the founders of the original Marvel Knights
Right.
era, like that line of comics. So this guy knows, like he knows this type of Punisher. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so you said you read this issue? What'd you think?
I did. I liked it a lot. It's mostly plot development, kind of figuring out what the government's doing against the mafia, what's the mafia doing to stay one step ahead.
Mm-hmm.
There's this really like gut-wrenching scene in which the mafia leader's wife gets the zombified or the zombied Frank Castle to fight another inmate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the way that they illustrate her like telling them, "Come on, kill him, kill him."
Yeah,
it's just really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool. Dan Panosian is just such a great artist too.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the. I mean, I would say, like I've said before, I think Garth Ennis's Punisher is kind of like the definitive modern era Punisher. I love classic Punisher, but I do feel like it's a different era of comics, and so you're just not going to see books like that anymore. They're not written that way.
Yeah.
But this is definitely in line with like the Garth Ennis style.
Oh yeah.
And if you missed the first issue, I think I did. Yeah, there's a second printing of the first issue also coming out tomorrow, so you can jump in with both issues. And yeah, it's really really cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting too that there's the Punisher #2, the Marvel Knights Punisher. There's a reprint of #1, and then you know what else is coming out tomorrow?
What's coming out tomorrow? Daredevil
and the Punisher.
Ooh.
Also written by Jimmy Palmiotti. This guy's got 2 Punisher books coming out in the same week.
Dang.
The art is by, I'm not familiar with this artist, Tommaso Bianchi. And so I did read this issue while we're on the subject of the Punisher. And so first of all, I think I've said this before. I love Daredevil.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite superheroes.
Oh.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've got a huge Daredevil collection. And Daredevil, I also just love Daredevil's relationship with the Punisher. I appreciate that Marvel has allowed that, like in the new MCU era of Marvel, where like all the superheroes are friends. They're like best friends, but also they fight each other all the time for no reason. But also they all like each other, and they get along. Daredevil and Punisher are like the two characters who will never get along and be friends, and I just appreciate that, and because it just works on such a solid thematic level, because Daredevil has the whole law and order thing baked into his identity because he's a lawyer, and everything that Punisher does is completely against. It's just murder, you know, and he's not like trying to rationalize it, other than just saying it just needs to be done. I guess that's the rationalization.
That's all he needs.
That's all he needs.
Yeah.
And so they've always kind of been at odds with each other. And this is, I mean, it's written by Jimmy Palmiotti, so it's the style of the characters that we saw in the Marvel Knights Punisher book that we just flipped through, and this is good. This is, I won't say that this breaks new ground with the Daredevil and Punisher relationship.
Okay.
It pretty much, it's like playing the hits of, if you've read, because there have been a few other Daredevil Punisher crossovers. I mean, the first one by Frank Miller in the pages of Daredevil is like the template that everybody builds off of. But there have been some other Daredevil Punisher crossovers, and they all kind of, it's just playing up the irreconcilable differences between their ideologies. Like Daredevil has a strict no kill. Punisher's whole thing is that he kills, and so this is definitely just leaning into that. But there's a nice little, I won't spoil the ending, but it goes just like, it just takes it in just the right enough a direction where I'm like, okay, the story is moving somewhere. It's not just these two characters fighting each other because they disagree. Like, there's like a little bit going on, similar to Skinbreaker, honestly, where I'm like, okay, it's not overwritten. I appreciate that. It's not trying to do anything that you don't need out of a Daredevil and Punisher story, but there's just enough there to like make it feel like a real story, that there's, you know, more to it than just a fight scene. So yeah, it was solid. I was, you know, I don't read a lot of Marvel comics these days, so I was prepared to just pass this one by, but I had to take a look at it out of obligation to Daredevil, and also that it's written by Jimmy Palmiotti.
Yeah.
So I was pretty confident it would at least have a baseline. But yeah, it's good. I like that it didn't feel like, it kind of bothers me that it doesn't have the Marvel Knights branding on it, because it feels like it should just be a Marvel Knights book, and it doesn't. So that was kind of my fear, is that it would be like a part of whatever's going on in the main Daredevil continuity, and it's not. You can just, if you just like the classic versions of the characters, you can just read this and enjoy it. So
excellent.
Again, that's why I enjoyed it. Let's see. Also coming out tomorrow, I'm not even going to flip through it. Conan the Barbarian, Scourge of the Serpent. I have been enjoying this crossover. I like that. It's okay. We'll flip through it a little bit. I really like the art a lot, and I like that it's real pulpy, and I like that Jim Zub is doing a cool thing with this crossover where he's taking, it's not just Conan, it's also Call the Conqueror, and I forget this character's name, but he's from 1934. So it's like a epic story told through time, and it's just pretty cool. It's like classic. I think I've said before, it feels like a classic pulp Robert Howard story that's not just a Conan story, because Howard wrote a lot of other pulp stuff, and so I like that Jim Zub is paying homage to the other stuff that Howard did. He's not just treating Conan as just a it's just another trademark. It's just a thing that we have to do to maintain the copyright, even though it's in the public domain. But it doesn't feel like a cheap. Like, there are other books I've talked about before that are just cheap licenses where the publisher will buy it because they know somebody will buy it because it's a recognizable name,
right?
And you just kind of cut corners on the creative team, and you just put something out just to move a few units. I don't get that from this Conan book. Jim Zub is like a professor of Robert Howard. Like, it's not just, I'm going to write some Conan stories. He's done such a deep dive on all of Howard's stuff, and I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So that's why part of the reason why I'm still just really enjoying Conan the Barbarian. Okay, we've got several other things here to talk. Well, actually, only a few. What did we talk about? All of your stuff? I think you had Skinbreaker,
Punisher, Absolute Batman, Skinbreaker. I also got Geiger.
We got one more. Let's talk about Geiger.
Geiger number 18.
18. Wow, has it really been over 2 years since he started Geiger?
Yeah.
Jeez. Goodness gracious. I haven't kept up with Geiger, but I dip in every now and then just to check out a few issues, and I enjoy it.
Where did you leave off?
Oh, it was several issues ago. I
Okay.
think oh gosh, I don't remember the issue that I read. It was
Yeah.
like it was a standalone issue though, like a one shot. But anyway,
Yeah.
so how do you like this? Have you?
I'm still enjoying Geiger quite a bit. The last arc was really good. Geiger, I can't. My recall is not that great on what happened in the last issue, but all I
Well,
know
that's
is that Geiger ends up in prison.
the trouble when you read like 100 comics a week. It's difficult to keep it all
The
in there.
details just kind of blur and
Yeah,
it all, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So Geiger's in this top security prison. He no
Hmm.
longer has access to his powers because of the results of the last arc.
Okay.
And it also happens to be the prison where, you know how there were those like 5 or 6 ruling factions in Las
Hmm.
Vegas. So Graybeard was one of them. He has treasure hidden under this prison because he used to be an inmate,
Okay.
and they like are basically setting up Geiger to be executed as part of their elaborate scheme to get that treasure
Okay.
finally. Yeah.
Pretty
It was
cool.
good.
Yeah, this has
Yeah.
been good. Like all of the Ghost Machine books have been pretty solid, and they're
Yeah.
doing really well. Like,
I think Geiger's really the only one that I've read consistently. I tried
mhm.
reading Red Coat, and
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Yeah, but I didn't keep up with
yeah.
it.
I admittedly I haven't kept up with them. Like I said, I just dip in every now and then just to kind of see how it looks.
Yeah.
But well, like we've got some pretty dedicated readers that have been following it from the beginning,
Oh yeah.
like Geiger and Redcoat, and Rook Exodus is another one that everybody
Mhm.
really likes. Yeah, and what's the other one?
Junkyard
Junkyard
Joe.
Joe, right?
Mhm.
That's yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that's cool. Good for Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that this is working for him after the kind of unceremonious way he left DC. I think he was
That
just
was like
gonna
after Rebirth, right?
yeah,
Or like
yeah,
yeah.
and he was just like, you know what? I'm done working for other people. I'm just gonna work for myself, and seems to be working for him.
Good for
So
you, Jeff.
yeah, good for you, Jeff Johns. Okay, there's a few other things coming out tomorrow that we'll make brief mention of. I don't think I have to do a deep dive on any of these. There's a couple of the Age of Revelation X-Men books. You've been keeping up with those,
I
haven't you?
have, and surprisingly I didn't read any of them
You,
today.
you didn't check out any of them. Okay. Well, Undead Pool #2 comes out tomorrow. Did you remember the first issue of Undead
Yes,
Pool?
and I liked it a lot.
I think I don't remember if you were on the stream.
Not last week, but the
Well, I
week
don't. Well,
before
it would have
that.
been a month ago when this
Okay.
issue came out, I think. But I read it. I read all of issue 1, and I liked it a lot more than I expected to.
Yeah, me
I mean, it's
too.
written by Tim Seeley, who is a writer that I really like. He's a guy who he's just one of those guys that, in my opinion, he just gets comics.
Hmm.
So like I can always trust him to write a good story. But it worked in ways that I didn't expect it to. And then the final page twist of Cable being there with
Yeah.
Warlock on him, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. You kind of got me into it. So I haven't read this issue yet. Because admittedly, like the new characters he introduced, I was like, yeah, they're okay. I didn't feel any attachment to them. And then it was good that I didn't feel any attachment to them.
I was about to
No
say.
spoilers.
Yeah.
But
Infer
yeah,
what you will.
but I appreciate. I don't know. It's a solid story. I haven't, like I said, I've really only flipped through this one, but yeah, Cable. I just really like this version of Cable.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Another thing I noticed just when I guess I don't want to put this on camera because it was something on like the last page. It was like an epilogue, but I don't want to show like the final page just because it would be a spoiler. But there's an epilogue here where it specifically says it takes place in St. Louis, Missouri. But like, I guess that's sort of the the St. Louis skyline.
Yeah.
But it really bothers me. I guess this is a spoiler.
No arch.
No arch. How are you going to draw the St. Louis skyline from the Missouri and not have the arch? Like I was like looking for like a destroyed version of the arch because it's a post-apocalyptic kind of setting, right?
Yeah.
And And I was like, oh, did you just cheap out on that? Did the artist just not know the arch is there?
Well, no, there are a lot of the Age of Revelation books taking place in the St. Louis area. I think it was Cloak or Dagger #1 that actually references Belleville.
So I was gonna bring that up because a customer told me, he's like, hey, did you notice this? And I got really mad that you didn't tell me that.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
You wouldn't have read it by the time we did the stream. But on that subject, so Cloak or Dagger, here we go. #2 comes out tomorrow, and then issue #1, and it's specifically like, so there's the arch. So there's St. Louis, Missouri. They have the arch there, and there is a part at the end where they specifically, like, they name drop where they're at. They're like, we're someplace called Belleville.
There it is.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, the signal is in a town outside of St. Louis, a place called Belleville. And I was like, oh wow, like that's where you live.
That's
Sam,
where I live.
Right? Like,
yeah, I immediately sent a picture to my wife and was like, "Look at this! That happened in a comic book."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So then I'm like, oh, I wonder if they actually like draw Belleville. No, they don't.
I can't. I mean, it's 10 years into the apocalypse, so it may look different.
That's
some of these buildings look vaguely similar, but
I mean, that's your excuse for everything. It's just, it's the future. Everything's changed. But yeah, I thought it was pretty neat that they actually name dropped Belleville and didn't do like, something more typical like East St. Louis or, just like I thought that was kind of neat that they just straight up were like Belleville. So how exciting. We're famous.
Yeah.
We've been put on the map.
We're on the map. We're in the 616, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I got 2 more books to talk about real quickly, and then we'll probably wrap it up, maybe just a little early.
Alrighty.
We'll see. Tomorrow, kind of a notable release is The Infernal Hulk. Have you read any of the recent Hulk series?
I read a little bit of The Immortal Hulk.
Okay, so that was several years ago at this point.
That's as recent as I've...
Okay, so you haven't kept up with the current creative team. I
have not.
I think Philip Kennedy Johnson has been writing it since the reboot, and then Nick Klein has been the artist.
Okay.
Nick Klein is an awesome artist. So I will say this is probably one of Marvel's best looking comics on the stands, legitimately. The only problem is it's for me. So I have heard people, from multiple people, say that this is one of the best books Marvel's putting out, and I believe them because, like I said, Nick Klein is awesome. And it leans really hard into the horror nature of the Hulk.
Nice.
And I just have to admit, I don't care about the horror nature of the Hulk. I like the Hulk.
Really?
I like classic Hulk.
Okay.
And I don't like... I know Immortal Hulk kind of leaned into that too, with like the body horror.
Heavily, yes.
The body horror. And it's just not really my thing.
Okay.
I like classic, like, superhero monster version of the Hulk. But this issue, the Infernal Hulk, probably goes as far into it as into the like horror monster as has ever gone. Like,
I love the art.
It's so good looking.
So good.
I don't want to spoil too much, but he just like straight up murders people. Like, here's the big reveal, and he like claps his hand and just blows that guy's brain apart. And this is not polybagged as a red band. There's literally brains flying out. And whatever, but yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't intend to talk about the red band stuff, but
I mean, that's a fair criticism, considering
it's such shallow sensationalism.
Tell me, is there like that level of gore in the polybagged Punisher book?
No, there's not. And I don't want to flip through too much of this to show off too much, but it looks great. I just have to say, it's just too bad that it's in service of a story I just am not interested in reading.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is a shame. Maybe that's my fault. I have to admit, like, I don't like mystical Hulk where
he's locked in the green dimension.
Yeah,
what is it called? Is it called the Green?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are into that. That's the new version of the Hulk that's out there, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I prefer classic Hulk.
That's fair.
And it is what it is. I'm gonna say it again though. It looks great. Yeah. Like, it really is one of the best looking Marvel books right now. but yeah, and like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything else in the story, but there was a little development at the end where I was like, okay, if I was going to keep reading this, I would be intrigued, but I'm
Oh,
probably not.
okay.
Just
Well, I'll read
you
it
can
tomorrow.
read it and let us know with the next issue if I should keep up with it. If you, what you think.
Gotcha.
Okay, one more book to talk about. This is from Ignition Press. This is Arcadia. Whoops, there we go. Arcadia. This is number 1, and we've talked about a couple of Ignition Press books on this. You and I think we're both kind of the same. Where a lot of the first several books they put out were kind of firmly rooted in like horror genre,
Yes.
which admittedly, as I just was talking about with the Hulk, is not necessarily my favorite comic
Yeah.
genre. So we didn't maybe talk about them that much. But there have been a few books since then that have branched out a little bit beyond the horror genre. And this one is like post-apocalyptic sci-fi, I guess you could say.
Okay.
The high concept here is that it is in the future, humanity is extinct, and there's a new race of beings that exist, and they're called I forget what they're called. They're not. It's not as overt as synthoid, but it's like something like that, where there's some
Okay.
kind of
They're
like
synthetic
people,
Yeah.
and they're there's a lot of exposition that kind of explains a little bit of the history. There's a new one that was just born, and they're born out of these, I think they call them dragon something. There's a lot of, so I will say this definitely had that, it has that problem that some fantasy novels have, where there's so much unique and specific terminology
Mm-hmm.
because it's supposed to be like immersing you in this world,
Right.
and they don't use the same. It's like when you watch Star Wars and they refer to like butter and toast or something, and it's like, do
What?
all aliens have butter like from cows? Like it's, but it has to be normalized. It has to be something that you as a viewer recognize.
Right.
And but this had a little bit had that problem where I'm like trying to keep up with some of the terminology,
Yeah.
for, because they're supposed to be a new species. Like they've never even, they don't know what humans are. They just know that they used to exist.
Okay.
And then there's like some other monsters, and as you can see, there's there's like what is effectively like a zombie type of being that exists. So they kind of live in this post-apocalyptic world, trying to survive, finding new whatever they are. I'm sorry, I read the issue a few hours ago and I've already forgotten. Oh, uh, Sarents is what they're called. Sarents.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that will come into play in some way. I should also say that this issue is written and drawn by the Miranda brothers, who I'm not super familiar with. I know they've done a few other like indie things, but yeah, I thought this was a perfectly fine comic. I feel like it checked a lot of boxes for like what is a cool story, but it, I don't know, it just like didn't like totally blow me away.
Nothing
I guess
new or nothing.
So I don't know. I don't want to be too down on it, but I did feel like I was looking forward to, because I read the description. It's like, oh, it's the after humanity's extinct. There's these new species that are taking over the world and do like archaeology to like learn about the past of humanity. I'm like, okay, I like that setup.
That sounds cool.
And then I didn't like that the main antagonists are basically just zombies.
Yeah.
Like that's it. It's just like watch out for the zombies. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be more development with that.
Sure.
But I would have liked to have maybe seen a little bit more in this issue.
Yeah.
But it's a cool, it's a nice, something different from
From
Ignition
Press.
for sure. Yeah. So, and I appreciate that they're kind of giving these creators a chance to just kind of do whatever they want to do
Yeah.
with these books. So yeah, pretty cool. But I'll definitely check out the second issue, kind of see if they can, because like we said, Skinbreaker was pretty straightforward with its initial setup. But I mean, I'm loving that book.
Yes.
You know,
and that gets more complicated
as it goes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm hoping for the same with Arcadia. But anyway, that's the last book that I had to talk about.
I think that's all I have.
Yeah, we're just gonna call it there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Like our friend Dan says, there's comics out there for everybody. It's not just superheroes. Sometimes it's G.I. Joe and
Skinbreakers.
yeah, and also superhero comics that take place in Belleville.
There you go.
All right, so we'll see you all next time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.